Adventures on it. Our message tape is travelling the length of Africa, carried by a series of rather hot comic relief message gatherers. Last week we met the Maasai and crossed Tanzania with Julian Clary. Went to visit the widows of Rwanda with Paul Bradley. Reached the source of the Nile with Stephen Fry, who handed over to Geri Halliwell, and she's about to get the shock of her life.
There's 7 of these rapids. I've got to go down them, so wish me luck. I hope I survive.
Yes, I'm going to pull you back in the boat. I'm going to show you how to be rescued. Stay there. All right, it's really easy.
I never thought I'd start in the water, and this is only a safety drill.
Okay, what you're going to do, guys, is you're going to keep your hands attached. Okay, I'm going to hold you by the life jacket like this, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, just yank you in. Okay, you don't want to get dragged over that. That's really going to hurt. Okay, so ready, 1, 2, 3. Oh, excuse me. Okay, your life jacket's too loose.
I have no dignity left by the end of this thing.
All right.
Comic Relief dared me to do this. It sounded like fun in London.
Jump back in, jump back in. Jump in. Woo. Okay. That's us then.
The idea is to get the tape to Ethiopia by taking it up the Nile.
We're going to go down here, a little bump here, we'll follow the kayakers. And then we'll go up a little bump, spin around, paddle as hard as we can. Don't stop till I tell you. Get on the floor, hold your breath.
As soon as we'd learned to paddle with Mike, our Kiwi boatman, we were on our first rapid. This one's called Easy Rider, but still someone falls out, not me, thank God. There's a support boat with us. The rafting company claim they've never lost a customer, but there's always a first time.
All right, guys, next rapid's called Total Gunga. To us, Gunga means insanity. It's class 5, okay? So class 5 basically means there's a really good chance we're all going to go swimming here, all right?
Oh my God.
Got to paddle really, really hard, and then we're going to go forward, forward. We're going to come up over to a very big rise of water, like a mound. One of several things can happen here, usually 1 of 3. We can hit it, pop straight through, okay, rare. We can hit it, climb up it, and then get sucked back down into it, so literally get sucked back into the hole. If that happens, we're going to be surfing. Surfing's about the most spectacular thing that happens in the whitewater rafting world, and this is probably one of the most spectacular places in the world to do it.
Then suddenly I'm not in the boat anymore. Thank God the rescue kayak fishes me out. All I could see was brown water and I panicked and nearly drowned. Godfrey comes to rescue me and I nearly drowned him. And then another guy in his canoe tried to save me and I just completely panicked. And I take it all back. Very, very scary. I don't want to do it again. I was shitting myself. I thought I was going to die.
There's 4 girls back in England that paid for us to kill you.
4 girls back in England paid for us to kill me. It's a conspiracy!
Okay, forward paddle team, forward. And relax.
I'm so glad that I had this on.
Lucky you had that on, you'd still be down if you didn't. Okay, forward hard, forward hard. Go hard. And relax, relax.
The rapids seem to alternate, a hard one, then an easy one. I must say it's a damn silly way to get a tape to Downing Street.
Alright guys, so this is the next one we have coming up. We're going to try and imagine this one. What you've got is this whole river today is flowing at about 3,000 cubic metres of water per second. And what I want you to try and imagine is what 2,000 cubic metres of water per second must look like when it's forced into a 25-metre gap and it drops 6 metres. Okay, it's a class 5 rapid, it's Big Brother, and it's right there. It's a beauty.
Oh no, I'm going to fall out again. I really am scared. How did you lose that tooth? How did you?
Time I was training this job.
You lost your tooth in water rafting? For God's sake!
There will be no get downs here. I know it's class 5, but you will not be getting on the floor, you will be paddling.
So when you get over there,
You're all sadomasochists. That's what you are.
No, it's not going to be horrible like before. Well, a little bit horrible.
I don't want to do this. And that's how the scariest day of my life ends. It feels like I've spent more time underwater than on it. So you might think I've conquered the Nile, the 7 rapids. I just have to say, it's an experience that I will never ever forget. I'm glad I've done it, but it's something that's, I think it's deeply affected me. So I actually, when I was on the boat, I really wanted to cry my eyes out. I was so frightened. I wanted to say I knew what my mum, but you know, I felt a bit embarrassed because there's all blokes on there. So, but anyway, I've done it and I'm glad I have. You know, people have done worse things than that, so. But anyway, it's part of Africa, and Africa is beautiful. Dangerous, but beautiful. It's pretty obvious the message tape isn't going to get to the Mediterranean by going down the River Nile. So I've got to find another way. Then I have a brainwave. The only way to travel, cycle, taxi. The tape's in here, it's got to get to Ethiopia, but I can't go, so I'm going to post it. So let's hope it gets there. It's a real test for the post office. Now it's Dervla Kirwan's turn, and I wish her luck.
Addis Ababa lies at 8,000 feet. It's one of the highest capitals in the world, so my very first day in Africa is rather a breathless one. Comic Relief told me Geri had posted the tape in Uganda, but will it have arrived? There's only one way to find out. Oh, shucks, come on. For me and most people, Ethiopia has always meant the faces of starving people on the TV news. This is my chance to see what the country really looks like. Believe me, it's breathtaking. To the north of Addis lies the region where a terrible famine happened in 1984, which led to the birth of Comic Relief. Thank God the places that were totally barren then are now fertile again. Ethiopia has an extraordinary history. The people who live here are from an unbroken dynasty. They're the descendants of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. The most remarkable thing I see are the churches. Here in Lalibela, 11 Ethiopian Orthodox churches were carved downwards out of solid rock 800 years ago. Together, they constitute one of the wonders of the world. They are amazing. This is St. George's, and we're in luck. There's a service going on. Changes of dynasty, civil wars, competition from Islam, Marxist revolutions, the Christian church has outlived them all. Today, its hold over the Ethiopian people is as powerful as it has ever been. But of course, Ethiopia isn't all biblical scenes and quaint history. It has large economic problems, and like other African countries, it is also crippled by debt from previous regimes. It seems that the countryside suffers most, and that drives rural people reluctantly to the cities. So here's a message from a concerned Ethiopian school teacher.
My name is Samson. I've been a teacher in the countryside here in Ethiopia. If we don't have to repay too much money for the debts, we could provide better education for our children, and also it would stop the movement of people from the countries to the city.
Addis, the capital, has exploded in size. There are millions living in the shanty towns now found all over the city. It's a hard world. There are a huge number of street kids, children abandoned or who've left home and now live rough. Many make ends meet selling chewing gum or shining shoes. Julie Walters came here a couple of years ago to look at the plight of the youngest of these kids. I decided to check out some of the older ones and come across a little miracle. This is the Adunya Community Dance Group. All the performers are ex-street kids. It was formed to show the people of Addis what the street kids could become if given a chance. When I saw them, these young people had just returned from a hugely successful tour of the UK. This has been my first trip to Africa. So what is my message from Ethiopia? It's certainly a beautiful country with lots of potential. But the sad fact is that each Ethiopian owes the international banking community £103. So with those odds stacked so heavily against them, it's very, very difficult to see how they're ever going to make any real progress. But now the tape has to go on, all the way across to West Africa. I've come to the Olympic Stadium in Addis to meet the British gold medalist Kriss Akabusi. We need a relay of runners to start the journey west, and Comic Relief have asked him to help.
Hello. Hey, Dervla. Great to see you.
Great to see you.
You made it in a continent of high unpredictability.
I did all in one piece. Now this is it. You've got to take it to Mali across the Sahara Desert, so good luck.
Well,
Brave.
no problem. I'm enlisting to help Haile Gebrselassie.
We'll take care and get to it.
It's always a pleasure to meet a sporting hero. This one has broken 15 world records. Haile Gebrselassie.
Oh, yeah.
What a privilege it is to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Tell me, I mean, you've got so many world records, so many championship medals. Which one means the most to you?
To win the Olympic 10,000 meters. That is my favorite.
That was your big one.
That's the big one.
From the stadium, Haile took me up into the hills above Addis. I'd pretty soon had enough.
Are you tired?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I noticed the altitude. Lightheaded my lungs.
No.
Look.
I told you this is a hot hill. We are now on 3,000 meters above sea level.
Oh man, it's too high for me.
Yeah.
Gabriel, this has got to get to Mali. You're the great man to do this. You can take this relay fashion.
Okay.
If you get tired, hand it to one of your Ethiopian friends and make sure it gets to Mali for me, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Bye. Good luck.
Okay.
I'll watch you.
Bye.
That's enough running, I think. Here I am in Mali, one of the 5 poorest countries in the world. So I should be all right thumbing it, I think. Especially as this is the main road. Mali is a huge country, even by African standards, and it's my job to travel right across it to Timbuktu. On the way, I'm going to visit the Dogon, a tribe completely different to just about any other on the planet. Their beliefs are based on reverence for their elders and ancestors. Their art and dance are famous worldwide, as are their wonderful masks. This really is Africa at its most mysterious and exotic. The Dogon live along the Bandiagara escarpment. But after travelling all day, my guide Togo and I arrive in the village too late to do much except find somewhere to sleep for the night. It takes quite a long time just to say hello in these parts. Nice to know they're expecting us for supper, though it may take a while. Now to find somewhere to pitch one's tent, which as a seasoned African traveller, one always has, just in case. This is either the first time I've done this, or the 100th, it's your guess. Of course I'm sleeping on the roof, where else would you sleep? Stands to reason. It isn't, I must say to anybody who's never done this, it isn't as easy as I'm making it look. It's quite a lot easier than that. It's meant to happen. That's in the instructions. Admittedly, they're ripped. That looks about right, doesn't it? Can I use that one? I'm afraid pride has brought me back. My last option's gone. They don't have room service. I think I can do this. I know what it is. If I was my dad, I'd be claiming there's a bit missing. They are. So let's try it. What's this called? This is
Toe.
toe. Okay, and what's that? Looks interesting.
It's very interesting. It's the millet food. They make millet pancake.
Yeah.
And the sauce is with the baobab leaf sauce, and sometimes we call them kilometric sauce.
Kilometric sauce.
Yes,
Fantastic.
with the baobab leaves, you can see.
Yeah. Oh my
That's
word.
why we said kilometric sauce. We said him in Dogon language, Ora.
Ora.
Yes, but it's a baobab leaf sauce.
So baobab, and that's the tree.
Yes, it's a big tree.
Yeah.
And it's very important for the Dogon people because they eat the leaves,
Yeah.
they eat the fruits, and also use the skinny to make a rope.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they get all the use they can out of it.
Yes, all.
That's good.
Yes, it's why it's very important. And the sauce is also very nice.
Yeah.
We like it.
What does it taste like? Is it?
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super. Are you sleeping on the roof tonight?
Me? Probably.
Probably.
Yes.
You're not sure. You don't
Not
sleepwalk,
sure.
I hope.
Not sure.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the best you've ever had.
Very good.
Yeah. Tasty.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Mm.
You like?
Yeah. Not so sure about the toe, but the rest of it I
The
like.
rice.
Mm. It's my bedroom up there.
Mm.
Night. 8 hot and sleepless hours later, it's time to get up and look around. The dramatic Bandiagara escarpment runs for almost 100 miles and is riddled with tiny caves, once used for shelter but now as burial sites. Believe it or not, these are the Dogon villages. They cling to the side of the gorge in spectacular fashion, like some bizarre scene from an alien planet. So how long, Togo, has the village been here?
It's about 6, 7 centuries.
The Dogon really are an extraordinary people. They have their own unique alphabet, and unlike us, break up their week into 5, not 7 days. And what are the differences between the thin houses and the big houses? How does it work? The villages are all supposedly laid out in the shape of a human body. The stomach is appropriately the marketplace and is surrounded by millet granaries with pointed straw roofs. Dogon art is sought after throughout the world. These carved doors and windows fetch huge prices in London showrooms. So Togo, The Dogon must be very fit people, very strong, walking up these hills all the time.
Yes, because...
It's a stiff climb in the 35-degree early morning heat to get to the highest point of the village, its head. This is the preserve of the men. Bonjour.
Ah, boy.
Ah, boy.
Boy.
And what is this building?
It's Toguna. Yes. Sana. Yanga. He said welcome.
Thank you.
I'm Geri.
Merci. And this building, what happens here?
The thing is the village head.
Right.
He represents also the Toguna. If we have problem in the village or if the village people want to make some decision, they come to discuss here with the chief and they make the decision for the village people.
Right.
Yes.
And so are these elders of the village who are here now?
Yes, again, they use every time.
It's a very beautiful place, very beautiful.
See.
Thank you for showing us. It's been all too brief a visit. Hard to get here and even harder to leave. But we must press on. Our tape has got a date at Downing Street. I move on northwards through the Sahara Desert. It's a chance for me to see how the great nomadic tribes are surviving here. Apparently, life isn't getting any easier. One of the depressing things about this whole situation is that the desert's actually expanding at the rate of about 5 miles per year. If I'd grown up here, I would have come to this place as a teenager 20 years ago to swim, because then this was the River Niger. These men in blue are members of the Tuareg tribe. The Tuareg has survived for centuries in one of the world's most inhospitable climates, moving their herds over vast distances to find grazing and water. This well is at Bur, a few hours' drive from Timbuktu. Yes, you've guessed it again. Comic Relief Cash is at work even here, one of the most remote spots in all Africa. The herds of the nomadic Tuareg here have been wiped out by successive droughts. The survivors cluster round the few remaining wells. For hundreds of years, the Tuareg have lived by travelling around with their herds, finding places to feed and water their animals, doing that, and then moving off and finding somewhere else. But now, there's just no point, because no matter how hard they look, places to feed their animals just don't exist. And so, they've set up little communities around the wells, and now they're living a life that's completely different. The River Niger is close to Bur. Agriculture used to play no part in Tuareg life. They preferred to be with their herds in the desert. But now they're settled, they have to grow food, which means planting trees to conserve soil and, of course, irrigation. With training and a little practical help, they've achieved remarkable things. One of the changes that the people of Bur have made is that they've had to actually learn how to grow things, and they've done it very successfully. It's not what you expect to see in the Sahara, is it? Field upon field of rice. This rice is a cash crop, too expensive for these Tuareg farmers to eat themselves. Now they're part of a settled modern life, they need money. And they need schools, clinics and so forth, which is where Comic Relief and your money come in. But the nomads aren't the only poor people in Mali, which brings me to my message. In Mali, the average annual income per family is £193. The debt is £178 per person. So let's cancel the debt. So, at last to Timbuktu, fabled for being, well, Timbuktu. It was the place where Arab Africa traded with Black Africa, the place where the camel caravans came. Even in the Middle Ages, Timbuktu had mosques, schools, and a university. So this is Timbuktu, mysterious and inaccessible. It's always been a magnet for travellers and explorers. But when they finally get here, what do they see? I mean, this is the centre of town, right in the middle of morning. Timbuktu doesn't quite live up to the allure of its name. But then again, neither does Port Sunlight. However, for all its faded glory, Timbuktu remains an important stop on the African caravan route. Regular caravans of camels navigate their way through the Sahara with their cargo, precious, life-saving salt. My journey stops here, but for the tape, there's another 1,300 miles to go, north to the Mediterranean. Monsieur? Monsieur? Excuse me, mate, you're not going anywhere near Tangier, are you? Is it possible? You see a guy there, big suits, big hair? Give him that for us, will you? Merci beaucoup. Très gentil. Au revoir.
It might look to you like I got the cushiest part of the deal, coming here at the end of the movie to Tangier, the end of Africa itself, but then I'd have been no good down in the desert. I mean, there are no decent dry cleaners there for a start. So I let Nick Hancock deal with that side, and I'm enduring the hotel balcony and the luxurious lifestyle. Of course, I do have work to do. I've got to track down that camel he promised me. I might need some help. Jimmy! Jimmy, I'm having a lovely stay, but I'm afraid I must leave soon. I'm looking for a camel. Where would a camel arriving from the desert head to? Where is the nearest camel market?
There's no camel markets. They are on the desert, on the beach, just by here.
So maybe on the beach?
No, on the beach or on the desert.
Yeah, the beach. On my way across the Kasbah to the beach, I'm offered everything but camels. But I think that's got more to do with my remarkable ability to blend in like a local wherever I go. Ah, now this looks more promising. Camel. Are these for me? Do you have something for me? Have you come from Timbuktu?
No.
Do you have a tape?
No.
A man was meant to send me a tape, man. Nick Hancock.
I think it's all over.
They think it's all over?
I think it's all over.
Well, it very nearly is. You must have it then. It must be you. Right. Here we go.
Right.
This is it. This is for me.
Yeah.
Can I ride this?
Right. Yeah, John.
You see, it's beautiful. Say, mate.
Sorry. Yeah.
Hey.
Hold on one hand front, turn hand back. You hold another hand at back.
Yeah.
Another hand.
This.
Hold tight for coming up.
I'm holding tight.
Yeah, you're right. Come
There
up
we
now.
go.
Right. Hold tight.
Wow. That reminds me. That's called Vanessa Phelps.
Right. Now we know.
Can you? How do you say? How do you go?
You got two hands in front. Two hands in front.
Two hands in front.
Yeah, two hands in front.
Just tell me, how do you say stop in camel?
Come on, camel.
Now, take me to the ferry.
God bless you.
Well, here I am with the tape, and I'm beginning to feel a little bit sentimental. It's been 12 years since I first got involved with Comic Relief, and since then we've had 6 Red Nose Days, raising £139 million, 2/3 of which has gone towards funding projects in Africa. What began as a rash one-off has turned into a strange but permanent bond between our little islands and this massive continent. And it's a weird kind of friendship, I suppose, with individuals back home given to individuals over here, people they'll probably never get to meet, which is one of the reasons why we've made these films, to give you the chance to get to know Africa a little bit better. Because every single one of you who have ever given anything to Comic Relief, you have a stake in this place. Now it remains is for me to make sure that this tape, which has already travelled 9,500 miles from Cape Town all the way up to Morocco, can successfully travel the last 9, which is all it takes to get from Africa back to Europe. Then we'll find out what message Africa has for us.
Stand up, you fool. How are you?
Lenny, I'm great.
Look at you. You bought your own red nose. You know we get them for nothing. So how was Tangier?
It was hell.
Hell?
No, it was great. It was the best 4 days I've had all year. There was music, there was coffee, there was belly dancers.
Beggar.
I had a lovely time.
So did you pick anything for me?
Yeah, I bought you back a fez. I don't know if it's your size. I bought you back some mildly saucy postcards, and I bought you back a little camel made entirely out of
Jonathan,
tiny
the tape, the messages, the tape.
Hey, there you go.
It's back. Hello.
Good for you.
So?
I'd love to stay and chat, but I've got some pizzas to deliver.
Okay, my friend.
Good luck. See you later.
Bye. It's quite squidgy making in your insides, this. I'm just about to turn left onto Downing Street. Downing Street, where stuff happens, you know. This is the end of the long journey that started months ago. I'm going to take the tape to the Prime Minister. It's full of our messages from Africa. And I want to talk to him about how he feels about us and them and Africa in the future. This is it. Oh, God. I feel like knocking and running away. Here we go. Thanks so much for doing this.
No, it's always our pleasure. Here, come and sit down.
Nice room. Who decorated?
It was done a long time ago.
Will you put this in? Or?
Okay, sure.
There you go. Right. Thank you very much. You've got the remote?
Absolutely.
All right. This is how it all began. In 1984, news of the famine in Ethiopia spread across the globe.
This place, say workers here, is the closest thing to hell on earth.
Live Aid proved that hundreds of millions of ordinary people around the world cared. They stood shoulder to shoulder with Africa and vowed that this must never happen again. In the 14 years of comic relief, the people of Britain have given over £100 million of their own money to help others have a better life. It's been an extraordinary partnership. There's no doubt about it. Over the years, we've seen some extraordinary things and met some fantastic people.
I would like also to tell them that the feeling of the people that they would like to help you if anything happened to you in the future, and I hope not.
If you knew somebody, you know, on your doorstep who'd walked 11 days because they were starving and they needed a quid for food, you'd say, have a bloody quid, you know, actually here, have 5. The point is, forget geography. These are your neighbours. This is your doorstep.
And that's why Comic Relief won't give up, and that's why we shouldn't give up.
And it's great to stand here and say, I'm very, very proud of you. Don't listen to them about talk of compassion fatigue, eh? Compassion fatigue.
So what we decided to do in this millennial year was travel across Africa from toe to tip. The tape you're watching is at the end of its 9,000-mile journey. I'm here in Cape Town because Comic Relief are going to take the tape from the bottom to the top of Africa. Along the way, we're going to show you sides of this continent that you never ever get to see on the news. The physical beauty, the extraordinary history, and the amazing people of Africa. Some of those people are going to put messages on this tape from them to you at home. And guess what? Tony Blair has agreed to watch it at home at Downing Street. Brilliant! This is the message. And all along the way, we collected messages for you.
Hola, Tony!
Hello, my name is Steven.
My name is Samson.
Did you say piss then?
Yes, I did.
For goodness sakes, woman! You can't say piss on national television.
Peace.
Oh, you said peace?
Peace.
I thought you said piss.
We experienced so much joy, so much hope for the future in the children of Africa. But in every country, from every walk of life, there was one message that stood out, and we heard it again and again.
Really, if Europe, and especially Britain, could help Africa help itself, that could be a breakthrough.
As British helped to abolish slavery in the 19th century, they should also work hard to abolish this modern slavery of debts so that we can be able to get good social services.
19 of the 20 poorest countries in the world are in Africa. Each year, they give back more in debt repayments than they receive in aid. You don't have to be especially bright to realise that that's just stupid.
Oh, God. See, I can also smell. This is not healthy, is it?
I am a district medical officer in Uganda, and I know how much more I could do to implement the health programs for my people here if the debt for Uganda could be cancelled.
Mr. Prime Minister, malaria is killing our children and pregnant mothers.
Debt does far more than anything else to keep this country and other countries like it on its knees. What it wants to do is stand.
If you don't have to repay too much money for the debts, we could provide better education for our children.
It would cost nearly £3.5 billion to ensure that everyone in the world could have a basic education. In Europe, we spend every year twice as much of that on ice cream.
So let's cancel the debt.
Cancel the debt?
Cancel the debt.
Let's just get rid of it.
I see trees of green, red roses too.
Not
I see them bloom.
sexy, broke, and very confusing.
And I think to myself,
full of beans.
What a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred
Africa
night.
is
And I think to myself,
inspirational.
what a wonderful world.
But Africa still has such huge potential for hardship.
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow.
This Friday on Red Nose Day, the people of Britain will be doing their bit, giving millions of pounds of their own money to projects that are really helping people all over Africa to change their lives. It would be great if politicians of all parties could share our determination to support Africa. All parties are agreed that debt relief is now vital. Nobody's being naive about what a complicated business it is. Obviously, debt cancellation must be done wisely. It's crucial to find ways to make sure that the money gets to the people who really need it and isn't spent on arms or to support corrupt or oppressive regimes. But with the will of international politicians, bankers and African leaders, we might make the next century not just fairer for Africa, but a great century for a great continent.
I think to myself, what a wonderful
Maybe we can make it a wonderful world.
world.
Thanks for listening to our message.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Murakoze.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There you go. Is there any hope for Africa?
Yeah, I mean, there is hope. I mean, I think what is great about Comic Relief is that
it shows the willingness of people to make a commitment to sorting out a problem that, when people watch it like that, then their senses are appalled that this happening in the world. And as someone said, I think it was you, I mean, these people are our neighbours. So what I would like to do, in a sense, is to say to people, that commitment that people are making personally and through comic relief should and does find its echo with what we're trying to do in government. Britain has been trying to lead the way in the last couple of years by a process of increasing the amount of debt relief that we can give. So, in fact, we already have forgiven quite a lot of debt over the last few years. We're trying to speed up the process so that we halve the time. I mean, this is all governed by international conventions between countries. We're trying to halve the time it takes to get the debt burden removed.
What can we do to help you get to the next stage with relieving
Well, I think by
the burden?
Keeping up the pressure and by demonstrating that the public shares that commitment to change. We've got to make sure that the debt relief happens. We've got to be putting the aid and development money in and making sure it goes to the places that's really necessary. So it's going to school and education projects, infrastructure projects dealing with the water problems that countries have, not just throwing a whole lot of money into the country and hoping it ends up in the right places, but specifically directing it. And the other thing we've got to do is resolve some of the conflicts in Africa, which cause some of these terrible problems. So that's the other part of it as well. And I think the thing that comic relief and people can do is to keep up the pressure on governments. And
so it's all right for us to keep coming here and giving you a hard time,
absolutely, and do.
Back tomorrow. So, Prime Minister, are you committed to keeping this issue at the centre of people's attention, right there on the agenda, on the world stage?
100%. We've got all the countries of the world to agree to a new process to try and agree a faster process of relieving the debt burden on the poorest countries.
Prime Minister, do you see a time when people's attitudes towards Africa will change?
Well, I think one of the great things about your film and the progress of taking it, starting off in Cape Town and working right the way up to the top of Africa, is that it showed the incredible potential of Africa. I mean, as a continent, it has the potential in terms of natural resources and land and wealth. That is what is so appalling, scandalous about the whole situation, that you have this incredible potential, and yet it's being squandered for all sorts of historical reasons. And I can see the time very easily in the future where Africa can take its place as one of the leading continents in the world.
Well, thank you so much for giving us so much of your time, and thanks for letting me know that we can come back and bother you. If we don't see any change, we're going to come back.
You do that.
Be sure of that. We will. Okay. Take care.
Thanks.
And we've got a lot of swag for the kids and everything. Comic relief stuff, noses and stuff. Yeah, because can you pass it over? I'd like to see this.
Right, well, I'll get them out raising some money then, eh?
Yeah, they need to be raised. We've got T-shirts.
Fantastic.
We've got T-shirts and we've got some noses and we've got the car nose for the Prime Minister.
Tonight on BBC One, as Zoe Ball and Noel Edmonds bring you the Comic Relief Jukebox.